So I will call the work session of the mayor and council for the city of Snellville, Georgia, Monday, July 28th, 2025 to order. We have a quorum, everyone's present. So first we'll go through the regular business meeting. With that, Bobby is going to do the invocation.
Hey, Bob.
Chief, you want to do the pledge?
Sure.
Or we could show the video of my grandson.
Is he saying the pledge?
He is.
It is. You want to show that to me now or?
Either or. Can you be that cute, Greg?
No.
Can you put it up on the TV?
I don't know how.
Erica's not here, is she?
Next time, maybe.
It is the sweetest. We have the minutes. We have Laura Drake as an invited guest. It's an update on the co-op. Public hearing. We've got the first, the SUP for Park Place for the storage. Anything we need to go over in the work session before the meeting?
I will opine that after speaking with the applicant, the request for the materials or the EFS, they're okay with dropping that, and they'll just do what's required of the code. That's what I heard.
I'm sorry, if I could, I'm Jack Wilson, I represent the applicant. If I could just speak to that. So Jay called this afternoon with some conversation about a potential mural.
Yeah, never mind.
Okay, I was just going to say, I mean, if you want one, we're open to talking about that. But having the extra wall space, the EFS would probably help achieve that. But
It would be you can't
it's a
put it on
surface you
something
can
else.
paint on.
Yeah.
And we're showing a lot of glass in that area. It wouldn't really lend itself to that, but if
If it's behind, we're happy to explore it.
No, right. The best place would be towards Home Depot, but then you won't see it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean, but there's nothing that side.
But if you want me to take the windows off that side and put it on another side, and do, I mean, it's a lot, we'll do, just, I don't know what you want. We'll talk, I mean, we're open, but.
The mayor was not very supportive of the idea of a mural.
Next.
Stop that bus, please.
Of course, I'm only one person, but.
Well, I don't really see as great a value in a mural in that area as I would in the town center over there.
Agreed.
So,
That's kind of where my head is.
Make them install some art,
Sir?
a couple $100K worth of art.
I just want 6 feet of
Big wind
sidewalk.
chime or something.
6 feet of sidewalk there on the car, correct?
Yeah, the sidewalk. They'll do the sidewalk.
Okay. The next we have the SUP 2503 for the Eastgate Place for the sports facility there. Anything there anybody has questions on before we get to the review?
I'm pretty bored.
Great. New business, we have the second reading on the alcoholic beverage ordinance. Any issues on that one?
Since we don't have a lot on our discussion, can I ask Jason a question on the sports facility?
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Screening and buffering for the detention pond, because now the detention pond is expanding, it's going to be rather large.
We'll get it straight.
Okay.
No, we'll make sure.
Is it already,
We haven't
is that
seen any-
already covered, or is that a condition we need?
I mean,
to-
we can, need they need a little bit of help on some of the landscape strips along the edges, just because it's into a forest.
I just
So
don't
we'll
remember
have-
how deep it is.
We'll make sure it's covered,
Okay.
especially there, because it'll be hot days. We'll use fence, we'll use opaques or some slack. There's no real dam on that side too, so it won't cause any, integrity issues with the slope.
We all will later, don't worry.
Integrity issues.
Okay, and then we have the resolution for the expansion of the entertainment district boundaries. I think we have.
So, just on these last two items, that was what that Mercy reviewed with us last time, so, the change is pretty simple. It's, the type of material for the cups, stickers, be able to put stickers on there, and then, amendment to the map that we carved out, the PDs, carved out, added in, however you want to look at it, but people can drink there now. Right, the open carry, that's the bottom line. That little green space in front of there is free reign
Open carry.
for open carry.
Party hat.
Both kinds.
Party hat.
Both kinds of open carry.
Okay.
Not at the same time.
The chief already asked about some string lights. I want to string some lights there.
Little neon sign.
That way they don't have to
On the
walk
fence.
as far to pop that beer open. Just walk out the back door. They're in
Policing
safe,
initiative
controlled
there.
territory.
Have
A little
beer with the
gazebo
chief.
out
Yeah,
there.
that's right. That's right.
You get the
I just want to make sure it was clear on kind of real basic.
Here's our rooftop bar.
Christy's been asking for one.
Thank goodness. We could get little owl lights, hats.
Okey-doke. All right, back to the regular meeting, or the work session agenda. Any correspondence? We did have a couple of, I think, ribbon cuttings that were Caribou Coffee. Didn't you
Yeah,
have that one?
yeah, Caribou Coffee coming up, I think, on the 14th.
Did everybody get that one?
Yes. And I think Kelly McLean said that's being put on by Gwinnett
That was
Chamber.
Yeah, that was the Gwinnett Chamber one.
So,
Also, I got an email from Rosina at the hospital. Last year, they did a Rock the Ribbon little event with some light refreshments and a couple of speakers, and we meet a lot of the doctors for breast cancer services over there. And I got an email. They're going to do it again this year on October 23rd. So I don't think that's been made public yet, but if y'all want. So October 23rd, it'd be from 11:30 to 1:30. So I think I can do it, but they asked for me to do some openings. And then I did get an email, I'll forward it to everybody in case y'all didn't get it. There's a new child school opening. I think it might be where the Urban Air was,
Oh,
up on 124.
yeah, I've seen signs for it.
There's a sign right out there on 124,
Yeah.
Child Development Center or something like that. I don't think they have a date set. It's the Children of America's, they said it's the very first school in Georgia. It's right outside the city limits, but she was just asking if we could participate in that just to help them, so I'll let her know. I'll let y'all know if the date gets set on that. Okay, city attorney's report.
We have the need for an executive session.
And then, all right, discussion items, update of projects.
Thank you, November. So if I could refer to the project's update document here. So on the town center, the staff, as we kind of given you a roadmap before, we're working on various policies related to the grove and working through recommendations that we present to you all. What we're working on now is a special event policy for the grove. So what we're talking about for that, let me give you a little bit of background, because we do want to come back to you all, and there will be some approval that we'll need from you, assuming we're okay with the process and path that I'm going to describe. But as we look at the comprehensive plan, there's a lot of language in there about vibrant, collaborative, unique events, activities, things, especially in the town center and at the Grove, right? And from what we've seen, there are a lot of thriving downtowns that obviously the cities will put on their own events that are, purely organized and run by city staff, but there's also opportunities for different groups, partnerships that may exist for folks to come in to put on events. So let me just give you an example. If someone wanted to come in and do an art show at the Grove, where there's easels everywhere, people's art that people can look at and see, that is something that we would probably rely on a partner to help bring folks in if they know a bunch of artists that would be comfortable coming and showing their work. And, we're providing the space under certain conditions, and they're providing the activity and the people and all that sort of stuff. So there are a lot of components that need to be addressed in order to kind of put something like that in place. Some of the things that we're discussing right now kind of center around, the type of vision for activities and events that we see down there on the road, right? Things that augment that experience and don't take away from the local business community or what STAT is doing or what other areas, other local events may be. So the process is we're kind of discussing now is people would come and meet with Jan Harris, our downtown development manager, and kind of see where there'd be like an intake conversation on what kind of event would you want to do, and how many people do you expect to come, and kind of have that initial conversation. From there, if Jan feels like it's a good fit, it's something that we think we could support, something that would be family friendly and well attended and a good city partnered event, then they would move on to an application that would be pretty robust. Jan wrote an application for the city of Taylor where she came from. It was like 15 pages. I mean, there's a lot in there. Everything from road closures to EMS to emergency plan to, there's a lot of liability that the city takes on when you let someone come and use, your space. And then, obviously with that application, there'd be certain fees that are associated with that, deposits and things that we would consider there. And then, we'd have the event, and then there'd be, a post-discussion of the event, of what went well, what didn't go well, that sort of thing. That is really kind of the 50,000-foot view. But, with that, there would need to be some code that probably need to be adopted. We would need to define what a special event is, what that means. So there's quite a bit of legwork, that needs to be done. But I'm telling you all this to kind of just briefly get input on it. Does that sound like a direction that you would all be comfortable in moving towards, or should we, as staff, be thinking about it a different way? We don't want to get too far down kind of the path we are if, council's not going to be supportive of that, or if there's concerns, with that. Now, as you're thinking, I'll tell you, no process is going to be perfect, but we feel like this is, the best way. So what we aren't talking about when we talk about special events is, if someone wants to, have their kid's birthday party, at the pavilion with a splash pad, we're not going to require a 15-page application for you to come bring cake and have your kids run around the splash pad. What we can't guarantee, though, is exclusive use of the splash pad, for instance. As long as you're comfortable with other kids being in there, you can use it and bring your cupcakes and, your balloons and that sort of thing. We're talking about, established events of folks that, it takes 3 to 6 months to plan. Not your fly-by-night, I want to have a trunk or treat at the Grove, can I do it tomorrow, type stuff. I mean, there would be some serious qualifications from liability insurance, being named an additional insured. I mean, when I say robust, it's,
It's robust.
Yeah, it eliminates a lot of the kind of the, I don't know what the underling events, I guess. I mean, it's a kind of the,
The non-professional type.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quickly organized.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. Now, there's some nuances we'd have to work through on some of that stuff as well that we kind of talked about amongst ourselves. But that is kind of the general direction that staff has been discussing the last week or two.
As long as legal's okay with the method used for approving or denying, because that's where you could run into issues, because the way you phrased it, it sounds like they come talk to Jan, and if Jan likes it, yeah, let's go. So
To your point,
we will have
absolutely.
people who will come and Jan will say, no. And we have to be able to legally have a
Yes.
basis.
So to your point, that would be part of what would be addressed in the code. I think what staff would like is, if we could work it out. And I know there's a lot of things on top of my head I'm not thinking about as we get further in this, but, we could essentially say, if you meet these criteria, whatever we decide that is, you're in. If you don't meet all of it, you're not in. And it makes it simple where staff doesn't have to say, we like this. So for instance, an example, if your event is some sort of for-profit thing where you're selling stuff to benefit Home Depot, I don't think it's Home Depot, but just, you're fundraising for some kind of thing for them. Well, we probably wouldn't want someone to come have an event on the Grove to make money off of the space and venue, right? That's an easy no, there. On the counter side, maybe there's an event South Gwinnett wants to come, use the Grove and have a fundraiser to raise money for scholarship funds that kids can apply for. Well, they are raising money, but maybe we might be okay with that because it's going towards a scholarship program that kids can apply for and get their books paid for or whatever. So, as much as we hate to try to think of every little event, you almost kind of have to for some of these things to be able to create that criteria to say you're in or no, this isn't the direction the city's really, looking at. But yes, there's a lot of that nuance.
Do we have a local model that we can look at, see how it works, like Swan or something?
Yeah, we probably will need to do some research on that too. We haven't dug that far in, quite frankly, because we want to make sure that we were moving in a direction that you all were comfortable with before we really started digging our hands into
I would
research.
think requiring
things like that.
liability insurance is gonna kind of push some groups out, I would think.
Yeah, well, we're talking, we're talking about big players, big fish. I mean, we're talking about folks that, because
But it's, stuff that might add dimension to what's going on. A big book festival or, kind of like Jomi, what they kind of did with the literacy thing,
Except for people.
Yeah, except with people. But, I could think of a dozen things that would be so cool done.
Yeah.
And this is not to preclude the city from having our own city events. I mean, there will be things down there that we'll do, that Jan Harris will be completely in charge of and will run and operate. This is just to open up for opportunities for partnership, for other folks. Down the line. Should that opportunity present itself, to us, and we feel good about it.
Again, it all comes down to legal being happy with the part and PD being happy with it.
Well, Jason's going to have to help us with the code stuff.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
There's quite a bit of
let them go.
quite a bit of legwork that needs to be done.
As long as there's Peter, he's for it.
Yeah, just keep them running through there.
Well, we will continue on in that direction. Now, I will say, we have had conversations. I'm not asking you to consider this now, but we have had conversations maybe of the being able to replicate this maybe for the town green. A similar, really the same exact process. Where right now we tell folks to partner with staff, so there's really no process for that, right, in place. Now, I'm not asking for that now. We're not saying that but we think there might be opportunity there to kind of button that up, where it makes it very simple. There and it takes that out of.
Have you had groups ask to be able to do events on the,
Several
in the
times,
groves?
yeah, several times.
Okay.
Yeah. And we want folks there. See, that's the balance. You want folks to come, you want folks to activate the space, but inevitably, anytime there's going to be something organized down there, whether it's a city exclusive event or a partnership, it's going to be the city's event regardless. I mean, it's going to reflect on us. Right. And so that's why we want to be as clear as to what we're looking for, what the vision is, what we're trying to accomplish down there, and partner with the folks that we feel like are going to give us the best chance of positively advertising the city. It is, what it boils down to. Mercy, did I miss anything from the?
One other element we've been discussing that I think hopefully gives some reassurance about the process is involving department directors appropriately. So if folks make it past the hurdle of the appropriately significant application process, that would then be reviewed internally across departments to make sure that there's understanding of any impact. Our department directors can weigh in as the experts and say, this is a safety concern, or this is something we would need to be addressed, or look at staffing. And one of the, tenets is not only just availability of the space, but availability of appropriate staffing so that we can manage our team and make sure nobody's overloaded.
So this is just the application that Jan created, and it's 19 pages.
That'll weed them out.
And you might think that's overkill, but this is everything from, you're closing roads to what activities and equipment are you bringing to, are you having a parade, are you having, it's just a lot of information that goes into that stuff that, we want to make sure we're clear with everybody on what the expectations are and what you're doing and what our role is. And
could you shoot that out to us just so we can
take a look at it? Yeah.
And I'd like to run that by the head of staff. Because we don't run the business.
So for politics and religion.
So on that front, we recently had folks visit and exercise their constitutional rights. So this process would not apply to assemblies, what we refer to those folks as. So if folks want to come and peacefully assemble to express whatever is on their minds as a body, then they wouldn't need to fill out. We're not considering that a special event.
There's a process for that that's already in place, and
we wouldn't touch that. That would just continue to run through the PD.
So I could have a church event if I filled out the application or not.
So there's another.
Well, that's stuff still to be talked through.
Okay.
Yeah, an aspect of, are we allowing, overtly religious events down there? That's it. So, and religious stuff can get tricky
Yeah.
there. And it opens up quite a bit,
If you allow it for one, you gotta allow it
for every single person.
And I would think because the city is going to have our standard events and some other events, we will have to have some dates that are on the calendar as unavailable. So.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the thing. Kelly and Jan will need to be talking and have a very close, working relationship so that no one's stepping on toes and that they can help coordinate, things appropriately. So that should be an issue.
Yeah, we're certainly not, out there to threaten status.
Oh, no,
this is not anywhere near that, there, but.
No, I was thinking more along the lines of there's been talk about getting more extensive Christmas decorations, and I don't remember the big pieces, whatever they're called.
Showstoppers.
Yeah, showstoppers, that sort of stuff. And
Not this year.
would it be appropriate to allow events when we are spending, we're just putting a lot of money into that, and just stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah.
All to be worked out later.
Yeah. All right, then we will move forward with under the assumption that you're all good with what the framework I've explained, and we will certainly we may even need a special called work session to just go over all of it in detail when that time comes. So just further on the Grove, so Crooked Can is targeted September, October opening day. Oktoberfest is their big holiday, so they want
When we talked to Alan,
get it open for that.
the other night, he was saying in October,
Yeah, October for their target.
because they got all of their county inspection passed, and then, because they haven't been able to start brewing, so of course they got through.
They've got some vendors that are under construction, interior right now, so they want to get a few of those folks open. That'll help with that. Dumpling Master and Dumpling Master's making good progress. The Taqueria is making good progress. They're saying that they might be, they're targeting being done with construction, all interior construction within the next 30 days. There. Now that's not them selling food, that's just them getting construction done. Then they'll probably have a few weeks of getting staff and, training folks and, doing all that stuff. Parkside is not as far along as Taqueria, surprisingly. But they are working as well. We're continuing our work with the graphic design team for the entertainment district branding, and when that time comes, we'll share that with you all. It's not a point yet for really where it would be meaningful for you all to see it. There's still quite a bit of feedback we're giving them on it, but we'll keep you in the loop on that as well. Nothing to really report under city business cleanup or zoning guidelines. Package sales, we'll talk about that as part of the executive session. Briscoe Park, so the grading and utility relocations are ongoing right now in preparation for the slab pour. So there's quite a bit of utilities that need to reroute around the building. So there's several utilities right now that would go, that are the way they're running right now. They're running under the slab of the building, so those have to be moved and kind of held. Yeah, we don't want to have to tear up the gym floor to fix it, water, sort of thing. So those are being rerouted right now. Had a discussion again today with GMA on kind of financing and things. I'll give you some more details on that.
Have they found any water pipes or anything that weren't documented?
Yes.
Have they found any that were documented?
Hopefully their bodies. Have they found
Several.
any bodies?
Yeah, we knew that was the case. I mean, it just, when you have a park as old as that, and even continuity of staff, once you get past the county's meter, and it's on what they call our side of the meter, I mean, you can run water lines wherever you want, as many as you want. And so sometimes they don't run the linear, straight like you're thinking. Sometimes they veer off this way and go up here. Water's pressurized, so you don't have to worry about going up and down. You can go all over because the water's still going to flow through. It's the same kind of PSI. So it's been an adventure, learning some outages and some other stuff. They've kind of hit lines they didn't expect to see, and we couldn't give them a heads up for because we, it just don't. It was never really been mapped. Never really been mapped. So that will change with this project, and we'll get some maps built so that area will be mapped. We'll know what's going on going forward, which is nice. North and Wisteria, so we received all the permitting from the county. We had a pre-con, out there with another pre-con out there with them. We had one before, but the permitting and things took longer than expected, so we reconvened. They're going to give us a date, hopefully in like 30 days. They'll be out there starting on the sewer work. The contract for that work is 60 days, but given the scope, they think they can get it done in 30 to 45, which would be great.
It would be great if we could expedite the sidewalk down to the, it used to be the Limestone building, I don't know what it's called now, to at least to that parking lot. I've seen a lot of people running along North Road, and it looks rather hazardous. So, and that way, I know they wouldn't be able to complete it through around the corner, but if you can get them down to the parking lot, then they can jog through the parking lot and cut over to, because that was pretty scary.
And then just two more things that I did not have on here. I'm sorry. First thing is just so everyone's aware, Melissa did send out, we're a little bit later this year than our normal on adopting the millage rate, so she sent out just the proposed meeting schedule. Just want to make sure folks understand the 25th is when we'll have 2 meetings, one at 11:30 a.m. and then one at 6 o'clock. The 11:30, these times are dictated by state law. This isn't anything that we have, so if you're able to be there, the 11:30 one especially,
It's the
we
25th
just need a
of
quorum.
August.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 25th of August. And then what we'll do for that evening meeting, you have to have one of the meetings in between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. So our thought process is to just meet it there at 6 and then have our normal 6:30 work session and be in that routine. And that would be the meeting, assuming there are no issues that we would adopt the millage rate.
So you said 11:30 and 6?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 11:30 and 6. On the 25th, Bridget.
Right, I got that.
Yep. Then the meeting on the 11th, the next council meeting, it'll just be part of our regular business meeting, the public hearing would be. There's 2 of them have to be during certain times of the day. And then the last thing, just real briefly, so Walmart, a company that is working with Walmart has reached out to staff. They are piloting and starting to develop a program for delivery of products by drone, where there's a section of the parking lot that I guess they keep the drones in stock and then do their thing.
They landed in our landed in my
John fly it
driveway.
over to the spot and thing. So, in an effort to be fully transparent, there are some concerns from staff, on liability and just things falling out of the sky, potential for that. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. So they told us in an email that they're going to meet with the county. We think it might be good to try to see what the county has to say. And the mayor suggested maybe there's a way we can even listen to that county meeting to kind of see what their concerns are. I think it'd be good for us to kind of get some insight, on that. So we'll keep you posted. I'll certainly, I think that they did send an email originally to myself and to Barbara, but I'll forward out to the rest of you. There's a video to kind of show you, how it works and things like that. So you kind of have that as reference. But we do have some concerns with that.
Anti-labor, that's what it is.
We're cutting down on traffic.
So there's,
Well, yeah, that helps our traffic issues.
that's all right.
Would they,
So they drop a box in the middle of the
would
24
these
shut
drone
down for 3 days.
flights initiate from the Walmart parking lot?
Yes.
So the video kind of has
Yes, we don't know
A
that.
drone nest.
Yeah, the video kind of has it coming from the Walmart parking lot. I don't know how it would work for us, Gretchen.
Yeah.
From the video, they kind of have like a fenced off area, and the drones were all sitting there, and a guy.
They'll deliver you a beer from up there.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting. But I think
Glass
it's kind of a harbinger of what's to come. I think I would be surprised if a lot of folks kind of eventually get to that.
Amazon will be using it too.
I'm sure, and other big retailers will start to.
Very good.
All right, so we need exec session. So during the work session of the mayor and city council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Bender announces certain matters should be discussed in a closed session of the meeting and ask council to advise the city with respect to closing the meeting. City Attorney Dave Valley advised the city of the following reasons to close the meeting.
Litigation and personnel.